Wait, what about weird?
Hi, I'm Echo.
And I'm Elena.
And this is What About Weird, a podcast dissecting all things weird from cryptids and aliens to strange
Crypto
science
and
and
aliens?
unhinged crypto
We're
and
now
aliens.
a finance bro podcast.
Yeah, no. This is What About Weird, where we discuss everything from cryptids and aliens to strange science and unhinged history.
And we don't talk about crypto.
We do not talk about crypto.
But we are talking about cryptic things today, aren't we?
I mean, to be fair, we discuss a lot of things that probably aren't real, just like crypto.
Yeah, and the confidence of people that are into crypto.
Literally.
So this week, we are doing one of our weird talks. If you're new around here, it's an episode that's not researched and we just sort of talk about our thoughts on a topic for a while, which usually just is us doing a lot of live Googling and talking out of our asses and getting mad at things. So, welcome. We haven't done one of these in a while. Have we? Or
last one we did was Weird Talk Thresholds, and if I remember correctly, that was 2 or 3 months ago.
We did superstitions, but that wasn't a weird talk with just us.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Yeah,
So,
that still technically counted.
That counts.
That wasn't that long
that
ago.
counts.
Yeah,
And that one was fun. It was good.
Since we're talking about conspiracy theories, before getting into, anything specific, I kind of wanted to approach the question from a wider and more psychological lens. So, Elena, why do you think humans are so interested in or want to believe in conspiracies?
I think it depends on the person. I know for me, I'm interested in conspiracy theories. I'm not like super deep into it. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I'm interested in it just because it's like a fun thought experiment and a fun thing to be like, okay, how do you get from point A to B? And it helps me with my critical thinking sometimes and like, okay, well, like what we talked about in the Lavender Town episode of like, okay, well, if this is a real thing, why would it be a real thing? And it makes you start thinking, okay, why would this be the case? And it forces you to work through it. But I know there's a lot of people that just like the world is a scary place and people just want to find a way to scapegoat. And I think that has a big part to do with it. And I think we had talked about this before and you or somebody else had said that it was a way for people to make their not socially acceptable views socially acceptable. Like, oh, I can hate the Jews because they're actually lizard people that are trying to take over the world. Like putting that onto a group of people of like, well, it's okay because actually they rule everything. And like making it by trying to make it okay, they've made it themselves sound crazy. But I also think part of it, I wouldn't be surprised if a good portion of it is the way that people believe. I think a lot of these things may get started because of like the CIA just being fucking the CIA. And being like, I'm going to start seeding this so that when people come out with stuff that's actually real, it's going to sound crazy because there's always going to be crazy people in groups. And I think it's a way to find your people who have like feel similar ways to your thing of like, okay, well, I like aliens, so I'm going to become friends with people that like aliens. But then you're always going to find more and more niche stuff of like, well, I like believing that birds are fake. So I'm only going to hang out with people that, and you already know that, well, this is something that we can discuss and we have a connection point to each other through our crazy belief that birds are fake. But I mostly think it's scapegoating in one way or another or people playing with their critical thinking. And I think people just like stories. So why do you think?
It's hard for me to I should have formulated an idea before I looked into psychological studies because now I have actual I don't know, studies to back.
And I'm just going to sound really stupid because now you have info and I don't.
And not even. So I want to talk about this before we get to some other people's theories who I talk to because I find a lot of this really interesting, but incomplete. And so it lends to the bigger discussion. So when I was doing research into why do people believe conspiracy theories, what is the psychology behind conspiracy theories, I read a lot of academic articles, and I'm just going to kind of summarize what a lot of these academic articles said. They emphasized the fact that conspiracy theories can have an impact on health, relationships, and safety. And it's also important to note that conspiracy theories are universal. It's not just a thing in whatever country you live in. Conspiracy theories happen in pretty much every culture all over the world.
And for
Um,
centuries.
yeah, exactly, through forever. And that's another thing is to, like, define conspiracy theory, because when I've been talking about about this with people, it's like, okay, well, what constitutes a conspiracy theory versus just, like,
Belief.
a belief? And I think where we draw the line on that is what a lot of people agree on is that conspiracy theory is a particular type of belief that is a way to explain something that happened, whether it's like a traumatic event like a pandemic or a terrorist attack, or, really, it's usually a harmful event, but it's kind of just a way to explain an event or something that happens by placing, like, a powerful group with malicious intent as the one, like, causing.
Yeah, I think it probably, similar to what you said, I think it also gives people, kind of going back to the scapegoating, but it like gives people a way to explain, okay, well, insurance won't cover all this nasty, terrible stuff that they should cover of like, there's a lot of preventative healthcare that they can't cover. Well, why won't they cover it? It's not because they're greedy SOBs who are probably legitimately just evil. It is, well, they're doing this because your suffering feeds the tulpa that is this rich person, that like it helps you explain it. It's the like thunder is created by the gods fighting all over again, but just
Mhm.
more on earth.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these conspiracy theories is that they always evoke emotion, and it's often negative. And that is often purposeful. There's also, like, a lot of, like, psychological motivation, like, exactly the points that you were talking about behind conspiracy theories. There are those, like, certain motivations, and then there's also that, like, underlying intergroup conflict, which is basically the scapegoating, like what you were talking about. And social media and the internet are full of conspiracies. Some are, like, really silly and completely implausible that people still believe in, like flat Earth. And then, unfortunately, others turn out to be true sometimes. Like Watergate was a conspiracy
Or
before.
Epstein.
Yeah. Which is, like, most conspiracy theories turn out to be false. When I say most, I
Yeah.
mean, like, most of them, like a lot of them. But it's like the true one every here and there that I feel like
Keeps
gives
people going like
rise.
gambling.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, that one's true. Why couldn't mine be true? Or like, I knew that one was true, which means like this has to be true too. And it's a lot of, I think, people cherry picking, like, what they want to hear
Yeah.
when it comes to continuing to believe in what they choose to believe in.
Yeah, and maybe just like another way of putting your head in the sand about stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Or sometimes I feel like a lot of these people think that they're, like, getting involved by, like, they're, like, preaching about these conspiracy theories, and they're, like, posting on the internet about it constantly,
like,
and they're
I'm
like,
gonna be the one to break this out, or I'm gonna be
yeah,
the one that's credited for fixing everything. Like, it's a bit of an
and they
ego trip.
make it their whole lives a lot of the time too. Like, people that genuinely believe in it.
We're
There are a
looking
lot
at
of
you. Who
people.
is it? David Grush that is the lizard people guy?
David Icke.
David Icke. Different David.
Yeah.
Who's David Grush?
I have no idea. I don't know if I
Okay.
know that one.
Google. Is this how you okay. David Grush. Okay, concealing. Okay, David Grush is a UFO guy. He's like, there's hidden programs in the US government, and here's here there's supposedly biological evidence. He's one of those like whistleblower guys that was on Joe Rogan. So, similar type person.
Yeah. And so some of these theorists may actually, like, believe in what they're theorizing, but I think a lot of them are kinda just, like, grifters
it's an ego trip,
that
and then they're just believable enough for the people. They're like, "Well, he says he has evidence, he just can't show it or else he's gonna get killed."
Yeah, or it's like, "I wanna sell this book, so I'm gonna make people
Yeah.
believe in a conspiracy theory that my book is gonna talk about, and then I'll sell a lot of this book."
Yeah. The Warrens.
Yeah. What is interesting about this day and age is so, like you were saying earlier, conspiracy theories have always existed, and they've always existed in like a large amount. Like, there's always been this many conspiracy theories. Like, I know it feels like there's a lot of conspiracy theorists and a lot of conspiracies out there right now, but there have
I think
always
they're just
been.
louder now, and then they have a platform for it.
Well, it's
And you
not.
can reach more people. It's not like weirdos
Yeah.
in their closet. It's guys on Joe Rogan.
Well, and here's the thing. It's like you said, partially the internet that they can reach more people, but I think largely, especially in the US, it is the fact that the president of the United States is fueling conspiracy theories. Like when he
Yeah.
claimed that Obama was not a US citizen, when he claimed that climate change was a hoax, when he literally put someone in charge of fucking the healthcare department who said
Is an
that
anti-vaxxer.
yeah, he basically said that he wasn't gonna
And
deny any claims that vaccines cause autism, and
and then don't get me started on aliens.gov.
yeah,
That
and so
they've put that out there to fuel things. Then wasn't it which one? I think it was aliens.gov that turned out to be
it's a site for
ice a pipe
yeah,
yeah, it was
like
just like, come
report
on.
illegal, like report aliens, but like they're saying like report immigrants,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy. And so I think that is maybe has led either more people to believe in it, or I think has just amplified people talking about conspiracies, being loud about it, feeling okay to come
It's safe
forward
to
with these.
be
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yep, exactly. They're like, well, look at all these other people that believe this crazy fucking shit. So,
So
I'm allowed to
by
say whatever I
comparison,
want.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, like, listen, I don't miss the times where we were mean to people for, like, their theories and ideas because, like, the guy who introduced germ theory was laughed at too, but sometimes when people look at you and say the Earth is flat, they shouldn't feel comfortable saying stuff like that.
I will say
We should make fun of them.
I do love how flat earth people keep trying to prove that the earth is flat and accidentally proving it's round. I love it so much. I love videos like that. And also, at the end of the day, so long as you don't have you're not one of the people with racist underpinnings to it, which is so often happens. At the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter because we were talking about this last night and my partner was like, at the end of the day, you're still paying for gas. And what does it matter? Because if the earth is flat or not, because we still have to live for our live our lives.
Yeah, deal with the normal human problems. Yeah.
Yeah, but the earth isn't flat and y'all should know better. If you listen to us, you probably know better.
And so when I was reading these scientific studies, basically they were saying the single best predictor of belief in one conspiracy is belief in another conspiracy. So if you have broader beliefs that support conspiracy theories in general, you may be susceptible to these theories. And they are starting to call this a conspiracy mindset, which I think is
Bigfoot and
really interesting.
aliens. Bigfoot and aliens are a gateway drug to believing that the earth is flat and birds are fake. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. Like if you have a conspiracy mindset and you have certain beliefs and ideas that would kind of lend to this conspiratorial thinking, then you're more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. And like once you believe that first one, they kind of show that you're more likely to believe in other ones. But for me, and like that explanation is all well and good, but for me, where I was still questioning is what makes you believe in the first one? You know, what starts that belief in that first conspiracy theory? What starts that belief in the conspiracy mindset, the belief in just general things that could lend to the conspiratorial thinking?
I mean, I think we
And
talked about this a little bit in the Lavender Town episode where it was like, well, there's some truth to this of it's a real game and a real place and a real game, and there's real science behind the binaural beats, you know. And so you hear something that like with me, when I first heard that, I believed it because I was, I mean, a child, but also I was like, well, there's something to this. It was something I was already interested in because I was already interested in Pokemon, and then I heard this conspiracy and here's some truth behind it. And so I think it's like baby things like that of like, oh, well, maybe it would make sense for there to be an undiscovered wood ape in the Pacific Northwest going around. Like, yeah, I could see how that could be a thing. I like the stories of cryptids, and then you start hearing that that's real, and then you're like, oh, yeah, it makes sense that the Smithsonian is hiding Bigfoot bones. And then next thing you know, you're saying that there's chemtrails that are making all the kids gay. The kids are just being gay because people are hot. That's why.
yeah, and then another thing that's interesting is, so in one study that I was reading, it said that Democrats are more likely to believe in governmental conspiracy more when a Republican is in the White House and vice versa.
I
So
believe that
it
so much.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really interesting. It's also interesting that, like, throughout history, people have believed in conspiracies, most often during societal crisis situations, such as like natural disasters, wars, or pandemics. And think about what's been going on in the last couple of years. It's just like fueling the
It's just
fire.
one thing after another, after another, after another, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then there were also this is really interesting too. There were also findings to suggest that powerlessness may predict conspiracy beliefs.
That power
So
what?
powerlessness.
Oh, yeah. I
So
mean, I believe that because it's, trying to figure out an explanation for why, this person is so rich or why this person has so much power when I don't. Like, what are they doing that I don't?
yeah, it's like belief in conspiracies are high among basically stigmatized minority groups, which suggests that may be related to how much someone feels in control over their own life or like their certain level of vulnerability. I think a lot of that stems from the fact that we did such fucked up shit to minority groups that it's
Yeah,
like
you kind of go,
nothing is out of the realm of possibility of
yeah,
what they could do to me.
once you know that like the syphilis studies are real, you can understand why certain demographics of people have issues with like the medical system, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And we did it to like every minority group, from like basically testing birth control on women in Puerto Rico, it was, I believe, where we just basically like didn't tell them that they weren't going to be able to like have children afterwards. So we basically like
For
forcibly,
sterilizing
yeah, force
all
sterilized that
kinds of people.
population. We've done tons of
Electroshock
medical.
therapy on queer people.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and so it's like every minority group like has had actual experimentations or like super fucked up shit done to them by the government. It's like, why wouldn't they believe some of these things? It's perfectly understandable.
It's like you were saying of like, it's the nugget of truth within these things.
Mhm.
So, do you have anything more of that? Or should we go ahead and play Hoax or Believe the Folks?
Um I wanted to talk about a couple of the responses that I got from other people because I thought it was
Yeah,
really
sure, of
interesting.
course.
So we asked some of our friends in the Greg's Cryptid Corner realm, and I think a lot of people over there said anxiety was a lot of the reason why we have conspiracies.
Someone had
Um,
said it was like the want for connection or explanation. It was very similar to what I said. But yeah, I like that one person just put out anxiety.
Yeah, fear and anxiety. Some people just brought up the point that they think that they're fun. Maybe it's magical nostalgia, like a campfire story. Yeah, like something that is social in a way. Um,
Also, I just wanna say thank you, Greg, for letting us use your Discord server for research.
I know, because I was like, I'm so curious, and then other people said, yeah, like placing blame somewhere else, like, if it's the Illuminati doing something, then like we can't blame personal failings. And then someone even mentioned like the role in mental illness in some of this, which is,
Yeah.
yeah, that is also like a big thing of it is I think when people get like fully engrossed in like where it's controlling their life, like maybe there's another like underlying issue there that like it's something they haven't processed or like they need to seek help.
I mean, big there's a correlation with some of the at least with some smaller, uh, like, people starting conspiracies or even some of the bigger people of, like, they have a history of doing some sort of job or doing some sort of activity that may lead to brain injuries. Like, there's one guy that used to be, like, a soccer player or something. There's another guy that I'd read a book of from years and years ago that was, it was like, one guy that was trying to do something like that. Like, he was writing about getting brain injuries and stuff, and I think, like you said, some of that mental health stuff is really at play there of, like, maybe they don't 100% believe it or they start believing it later, and I don't know, I think some of that is interesting because I know, like, certain types of brain injuries and especially persistent brain injuries can cause, like, paranoia in people.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like even taking certain drugs, like you'll be paranoid. So I
Yeah.
think
I know,
that
like,
lends someone into
was it
that.
Accutane is really bad about like, it'll change people's personalities. Like, a lot of people have
Mm.
reported taking Accutane and then being like, "I was a totally different person after I started taking it," and it's an acne medication, like, it's not to help regulate a mood disorder or anything.
Looked into that, but I think I've heard of that.
I've heard a couple of theories with, like, different conspiracy theories relating to Accutane.
Interesting. Yeah, and then so when I was asking around about conspiracy theories, because I really wanted like some people that, because like yes, I took psych classes in college. I had a concentration in like neuroscience, but then I also did like biochemistry, and that was a little while back. So I wanted, and I that's not like what I do with my work now. So I asked one of my
Yeah,
friends
because nobody's fucking
who,
hiring.
yeah, I asked one of my friends who like did their degree in psychology, but also like kind of works in the field and like is a little bit more up to date on that, what they thought. And they kind of believe that conspiracy theories come from some kind of absurdism or existential dread, like rationalizing anything we can't explain, but reaching for something to feel in on, kind of like third eye style. But obviously, like it's
So kind
a
of like
spectrum.
it's kinda like the same what you're saying is it's kinda like the same thing of how people who are ostracized from, like, regular society will become, like, elitists and stuff. So you see it a lot in, like, the metal community and like, this is a good example. You see it a lot in the metal community. You're bullied in high school for liking metal, you're bullied, and then when people try and get into it, you're like, "Oh, yeah, you don't really like metal because you don't know these deep bands, you don't know all these deep songs about things. I'm listening to bands that you've never heard of." It's like trying to make yourself seem like you're in on something and you know something better. You have this secret knowledge to make yourself seem more valuable and interesting when you've been rejected in some way or
Yeah,
another.
and one thing that I saw in a lot of these studies that I was looking into was that being an outsider or feeling like you're not part of a community may be a factor in why someone believes in conspiracy theories. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm not already part of a community and I feel super left out. So I'm going to like believe in this conspiracy theory to feel as maybe if I'm part of something.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense of like a, yeah, be like the trying to find a unification in
Yeah,
things.
And then, like, my friend was also saying they had a really interesting point that we have things like the assassination of JFK, where it's like the conspiracies involving that were either the capacity to kind of not believe that humans are capable of doing such wrong. Maybe it's the like want to believe that humans are even more malicious than that. Or there's stuff like, people not believing that the moon landing is real and like the astonishment with the human capacity to do
Listen,
such a great thing.
the moon landing was fake, but Steven Spielberg, to save money, decided to film it on location. It also added to the authenticity, so, you know.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
And then they just go on to talk about like how there's like the spectrum of conspiracies because you get like Joe Rogan levels of conspiracy where, he's talking about like aliens using Earth as a farm for souls, which is absolutely wild. And then there's also kind of more like lighthearted stuff, like the Denver airport has secret underground tunnels for the military and lizard people. But
Well, lizard
they
people, it has so many anti-Semitic underpinnings to it. That's yikes for
yeah.
me.
Yeah,
But like,
because like a lot of
uh,
people with the Denver International Airport conspiracy theories, they'll be like, it's the Illuminati that lives in the tunnels, it's lizard people that live in the tunnels, and there's like a whole bunch more with that. Like some people are like, it's the
yeah.
base for the New World Order.
I think a more wholesome, maybe a more wholesome example would be like, or like harmless example would be like the government airlifted Bigfoot out when Mount St. Helens exploded.
Yeah. I mean, really though, like the DIA conspiracy theories, they aren't like most people like don't really believe that most people just say it's like underground tunnels for the Illuminati. Like
But
that's kind of what
Lucifer's
it is.
spirit
Or like
does haunt DIA.
Lucifer, or that like Lucifer is demonic. So a lot of those are like silly, goofy, whatever. But I think the interesting thing about the alien farming one, that my friend also brought up, it's like people want to believe it because if the aliens exist and they want or need us for like the farming of our souls, then it means that we're important, which I think is really interesting. Like maybe conspiracy theories are a way for us to feel, I
Important
don't
and
know.
needed, and like we are the
Yeah.
center of stuff.
Yeah, especially I think the center of stuff is a key part to
It goes
that.
back to what I was saying earlier about it's an ego thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we got on, like, kind of the conversation of cryptids, kind of how a lot of cryptid theories they're similar to conspiracy theory in the way that, like, if you didn't define conspiracy theories as malicious or as negative, then I feel like a lot of th conspiracies are like, cryptid theories are technically kind of conspiracy
And
theories.
same with aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Or like anything paranormal, like ghosts, but it's like a way for them to rationalize turning an evildoer or like something traumatizing that happened to them into like a fantastical beast. Either that or it's like the morals behind it, or like to teach a lesson, or to like, cause fear and anxiety. So it's like kind of the creation of these to explain something, to make something fantastical in the light of trauma, to teach someone something, or maybe like the creation of a conspiracy theory to
Or
create more
yeah,
fear,
you
which
might have
then pushes the conspiratorial belief.
you might have said this and I just didn't process that you said it, but like explaining why something happens of why do people always drown in this area? Well, it has nothing to do with the fact that this water is, like there's an undertow current that's just below the surface the way that the rocks are. That's why people get sucked under and drowned. It's a monster. There's a monster. Don't go near there because there's a monster, and that's why
Mm.
Billy Bob disappeared.
Yeah. And those are like the more kind of negative minded ones, but then there's also the interesting ones of like I believe in ghosts and ghosts have to be real because I will die one day and I need the
To
ghost
know
to be
that there's
real
something
because
more.
yeah, because after I die, I need to be a ghost after I die because I'm scared of not existing anymore. And that's another like interesting point that my friend brought up. And this is my friend Augie. I'm sure he's going to listen to this episode, but he's also doing the cryptid pinup calendar.
Shout out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just really interesting. So he's like really good at psychology and stuff. So I was like, "Hey, bro, like help me out here. Do you got like, a different perspective than what I've like read in these actual like academic papers?"
Yeah.
Because I think the academic papers are like cool and all, but it doesn't it explains why we continue to believe in
But it doesn't
them.
explain why you
And
start.
yeah. Like, I feel like there's a gap there, and even in the research papers, they recognize that there's a gap there. We're like, hey, this is kind of a recent field of study because we hadn't really like psychologically. We've been doing evil shit and like believing in conspiracy theories and like invoking
But it hasn't
conspiracy
felt like
theories,
such a phenomenon.
but we haven't researched it psychologically and like actually
Yeah.
investigated it scientifically kind of until recently.
Yeah. No, I think it is interesting that it took us so long, but I think it's just because people are becoming louder about it that we're researching more of it. Do we want to go ahead and do my little list of hoax or believe the folks?
Can I share a hypothesis with you really quick though?
Sure, of course. I love a hypothesis.
It's called the adaptive conspiracism hypothesis, and it is an evolutionary psychology concept which proposes that basically belief in conspiracy theories is an evolved psychological mechanism, so happened through natural selection, and we have specifically evolved to believe in conspiracy theories.
Oh, that's fun.
Right? I didn't look too much into that, but now that's in everybody's brain and they can go dig into it on their own.
I love that. All right, so I'm going to run through my list. I tried to pick ones that a couple classic ones and then some that I felt like I wasn't gonna pick too many that were like kind of harmful. I tried to pick some fun ones, some basic ones, and let's just run through this. Let's try and do the rapid fire thing, and I'm gonna list off
I
some of
might
these
have
for
to
you.
have you explain some of them because I don't know like too many conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Like I know like some
I
main ones, but I might have to
tried to-
ask for some.
Some of them are self-explanatory. I tried to
Okay.
generally pick some that you would know.
Okay.
I don't know how much you know about this first one here, which is OOPArts, or out-of-place artifacts, explain the missing time theory or prove young Earth. Hoax or
Oh,
believe the folks?
Is this the one where they thought that some like I don't know king or emperor or whatever
Basically, it's
swapped
like
all the timelines, and so they basically like implanted artifacts and articles to make up like hundreds of years or
Yeah,
like thousands of years or whatever.
basically, for anyone who doesn't know what an out-of-place artifact is, it's like when archaeologists will find things that are like, say, this artifact that's normally in it's a Viking coin, but then for some reason they find it in Oklahoma, or there's a piece of pottery that's normally connected to like the Bronze Age, but it was found in Iron Age stuff, or vice versa. So people are saying that it was, all these artifacts were planted, and that explains like young Earth, or that explains like you'll see dinosaur footprints next to like mammal bones, and they're like, well, obviously they existed at the same time. So
Okay,
hoax or believe the folks?
That one's definitely a hoax, but I think Cryptid Cocktail Party did kind of an episode.
Did the missing time?
Yeah,
Them and
similar
Believing the
on this
Bizarre both
idea.
did great episodes on it.
That was
OOPArts
crazy.
are real though, and we're
Yeah,
going to be hopefully talking to an archaeologist about that
Ooh,
next
I can't
month.
wait. Yes. Okay, that's gonna be so exciting.
I'm so excited. Okay, Havana syndrome.
Oh, this one is fascinating because fuck, I don't know. I know we're supposed to be rapid firing these, but like this one's tricky because like I don't necessarily know if I believe that it's a real disease or illness. I kind of believe that these people might be experiencing something.
You believe that they're experiencing what they're experiencing, but you don't believe the theories?
Yes, yeah, because I think maybe they're actually experiencing something, maybe it's psychological, but even if it's psychological, that still makes it real to them.
Yeah. Okay, next up, flat Earth.
That one, no, hoax. No.
The moon landing is fake.
Oh, hoax.
The Philadelphia experiment. Do you remember what that is?
Oh, is that no, what is
That's
that
the
again?
ship that they tried to make invisible, and then it, like, teleported to, like, Virginia or something, or out of
And
Virginia, I don't remember which, teleported back, and then,
I'm
like, the crew was, like, in the walls and shit.
I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm gonna say hoax just because that is so unbelievable.
The Voynich manuscript.
I don't know that one either.
I don't know it well enough to explain off the top of my head. Okay, I spelled it wrong, that's why. So it's a illustrated codex from the 15th century that is the early 15th century that has all these, like, pictures, and some people think that it's, like, alien stuff. The pictures don't seem to go together, and then there's a supposed code that nobody's been able to ever break, and they think that it has, like, something related to alien contact, or there's some, like, mystery thing in it. But then also people are like, "It's a fake, and somebody just made it to fuck with us in the 15th century," or, "It's not actually aliens, it's just somebody
Wait,
doodling in, like, their, uh, journal."
wasn't there something similar with that where, like, there was, like, this giant ball from the sky that ended up at someone's house that they said was, like, alien, but
I
then
think so, but I think that is a different thing, they're not connected.
okay. There's just multiple of these things. That one's really interesting. I'm gonna say hoax because I feel like most of them are, but I don't know quite enough about that one, but I'm gonna say hoax.
Okay, the Illuminati.
Oh, hoax.
I have a strong belief that the Illuminati exists, so people are trying to pick apart what's going on in the background and don't see the fact that all the bad shit is actually happening up in your face. It's like a look over here where we do stuff right in front of your face.
Well, the Illuminati is interesting because wasn't it like an actual thing? There were like it's like comes from an actual word. There's like an order
Yeah,
of the Illuminati, right? But
something like that.
then, like in the modern day, it's kind of just become like its
The secret
own
society that runs
thing.
everything.
Yeah, which I mean, listen, I don't believe in that kind of Illuminati, but like to me, I'm just like so like the rich
Yeah,
because
it's
like
the rich and powerful
the
that wanna stay rich and
Illuminati
powerful.
exists as long as money is free speech and corporations can lobby and like basically money like is power and like can influence like government and science and all of this. As long as that is how the world works, then the Illuminati is kind of real in a way. You know?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I don't think it exists how people think it exists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
next we have the Smithsonian has Bigfoot bones they're hiding from us.
I don't think the Smithsonian would do that. I think they'd put that shit on full blast if they had it, so
Yeah.
hoax.
The scientists don't want you to know this. No, every scientist I've ever met is like, "I want you to know everything, please."
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Please ask me a question. Please ask
There's
me a
so
question. Please ask
there's
me a
so
question."
many, like, papers that are behind paywalls, but if you just contact the person that wrote it, they'll send it to you for free because they
Yeah,
want you to have the
literally.
knowledge.
Yeah, unless it's, like, in a journal article where they have, like, a specific, like, kind of, like, rule or whatever that's, like,
Yeah,
you absolutely cannot send this to people without, like, authorization. Most of the time, they will just send you shit.
yeah, which I love. Okay, we have the Ark of the Covenant was actually a radio to contact aliens.
Hoax.
The Men in Black.
The Men in Black are interesting because I know a lot of people think that they're aliens, but
I
they could
th-
also be government. I believe in the Men in Black, whether
I believe in
it's
the Men in
just like
Black.
people that were investigating or whatever.
Well, there
I
is
believe in that
actual
one.
proof that like members of MUFON or like independent, like early members of MUFON, from what I understand, or like um people that were just independent investigators would dress up as the Men in Black because there was this lore to get stuff or to look like government agents when they're not
Right,
actually
yeah.
government agents, and it's just a weird guy that's like into this stuff who like writes in his attic.
Yeah, so I believe the Men in Black existed. I believe
I
that
don't know what they are.
maybe yeah, but I don't know if they were aliens specifically. I think that maybe they could have been MUFON members. I think they could have been people. I don't know if I believe the specific theory that the Men in Black were aliens.
Righty. Next up, we have birds are fake and government
No.
agents.
Hoax.
Yeah, we all know it's the dragonflies. We've been
It's
over
the
this.
dragonflies. Yep. It's always been the dragonflies.
And lastly, we have the government is hiding the truth about Roswell.
Yeah, I believe that one. And maybe, listen, do I kind of think it's an alien way? Yeah. But even if it wasn't in the alien way, it is still like a top secret government place. So either way, yes, they're still hiding shit in there, whether it's aliens or not, that they're still,
Or
like,
whether
it
it's
warrants
aliens
the
or a
conspiracy
nuclear
around it.
test or whatever.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
definitely hiding shit. I don't know what it is, but
The government always just be hiding shit.
They
Put that on a
always be.
t-shirt. The government be hiding shit.
What are your thoughts on all these?
Let me pull my little list up again. So where's my list? I believe in UPARTs. I don't believe in the missing time or young Earth theory. I believe there's something to Havana syndrome. I don't know what it is. Like you, I believe that they experienced what they experienced, but I don't believe the theories. I don't believe in flat Earth or the moon landing being fake or the Philadelphia experiment. I think the Voynich manuscript was probably just some guy in the 1400s that was trying to fuck with everybody and wrote down a bunch of nonsense, which is why nobody's been able to break the code. It was just some guy fucking with us. Let's see. I've already given my thoughts on the Illuminati. I don't think the Smithsonian is hiding Bigfoot bones for similar reasons to what you said. I don't think the Ark of the Covenant was a radio connecting to aliens. I believe in the Men in Black. I don't know what they are. It's not the birds that are fake. It's the dragonflies. And the government is definitely hiding the truth about Roswell, though I don't know what the truth is.
Yeah. So we align on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I think on most of our stuff we align with. One day we gotta do this with somebody that we know has totally different opinions to us, but like not somebody who's respectful.
We find the one thing that both of us like vehemently disagree on, and then we fight about it the entire episode.
Okay, I have a joke conspiracy that I don't know how you're gonna feel on this. To be clear, I do not believe this, but I have a joke conspiracy about it. Australia isn't real. The continent is real. The reason why all the animals are wacky is because it's just a dumping ground for animals from testing labs and stuff, which is why it's like all the animals
repeat
are the most
that
poisonous.
Because you cut out for just a couple words and they were like very important words. I'm missing something.
Australia, my joke conspiracy is that Australia isn't real. The continent is real, but all of the animals are like animal testing subjects that they just tried to get as far away from everything as possible. And that also is why it was a penal colony. And I, like a true conspiracy theorist, I have not read what I'm about to reference, but in the book by the pirate William Dampier, he describes The New Voyage Around the World was that book. He describes Australia as like, there's fucking nothing here. So, except for like kangaroos and fuck those things. What are they? I hate them. They're mean and they punch me. So they just started dumping shit they didn't want in Australia, including people. So Australia is manufactured. I don't genuinely believe this, but it's just a joke conspiracy I've come up with.
Where did the koalas come from then? There's so many weird fucking things in Australia.
Exactly.
You're telling me that they manufacture those and put them there, or that they came from other places? No. Australia is too fucking wild for that shit. Also, it could just be like proved from like basic biology that like, obviously these animals have these mechanisms because they adapted to this specific Australian climate.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't believe it, but it's something that I've worked through of like, okay, what's a conspiracy theory I could come up with, and how would someone get through that? Through like creating that conspiracy.
That's so funny, but that's
just why I created it. And like that, it's interesting because I've talked to people and I'm like, this is a joke conspiracy, and then they're like, I'm like, this is a joke conspiracy I've come up with, and they're like, actually, no, that makes sense. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
That's crazy how easy it is to just fucking like create one. And, like, because
Yeah,
you
but you
could
see, it has
probably
all of the pieces.
100% you could convince somebody that that was real. You could. You
Yeah, it has all the
absolutely
pieces
could.
of a different conspiracy, and that's why I think it's a fun thing to don't share them to people that are going to fall for them. Everyone I've shared with that are like, "Actually, that kinda makes sense." They don't fall for it. They're like, if you put more than 4 seconds of thought in, it doesn't make sense, but it could make sense, and I could see how someone could believe something like that. Like, just create a conspiracy, don't spread it to people, just create one as a thought experiment with your friends that you don't genuinely believe.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, now I feel like I need to come up with one on the spot. I wasn't prepared, but I want to come up with a conspiracy theory. I
I
would
know
need time to
someone
think, though. I don't
I
think I could just come up with a conspiracy theory on the spot like this, off the top of my head, like, on the spot, but it'd be so cool if I could, because like, I wanna be able to, like, say
think
one right
think
now.
about it and report back. Do we have
Okay.
anything else we wanna talk about with conspiracies and our thoughts on them? Or because we can't make this super
Hmm.
long. There's so much to conspiracies. We'll probably have to do a part 2 to this
Yeah,
down the road,
because
and we haven't
well, and the
even
cool
touched
thing
some of the crazier ones.
yeah, the great thing about this episode, and a lot of our weird talks, is it's a basis for more specific episodes later on. Kind of like how our Warrens episode, like that's the base episode. And now anytime we talk about a case where the Warrens are involved, you have that information. Or the Satanic Panic series. It's like those are like the base episodes, and now anything that we talk about in the future, we can just reference the Satanic Panic,
Yeah.
and like there's that base knowledge there. I think that's going to be this is going to be one of those episodes where it's like, okay, now we investigated the psychology behind it, like why people might believe in them. We've like kind of come at it from like a personal approach, a scientific approach, discussed what they are and gave like a really good generalization of everything, so that later on we can talk about very specific conspiracy theories and episodes and people will get
Yeah.
it.
And also it gives, like, people a base for, like, where we're coming from on our thoughts for stuff. And also, we've talked about this with some of our other ones of, like, our very first weird talk on aliens or our first couple on, like, ghosts and cryptids. Like, we're gonna revisit those. We're probably gonna do some more specific ones on, like, one day do a weird talk just on alien grays or just on Bigfoot. Go through, like, we can revisit this and see, 2 years down the road after doing this podcast, looking into stuff. How have our thoughts changed on this? Is there more stuff we want to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. We now are using 2 mics instead of 1, and we're not recording in my kitchen. So we have better
Okay,
audio.
I've got a conspiracy theory. You know how when men wear like hats a lot of the time, sometimes it seems like they start to lose their hair over
Mhm.
time?
Yeah.
I think it's my conspiracy theory that I've created is that the hat companies are doing that intentionally, because the more you lose your hair, the more you're going to buy the hats and wear them.
Oh my God. Let me call my dad and ask him, Dad, 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 are you losing your hair because you wore so many hats?
Well, and I feel like maybe there's a scientific basis behind it.
There
I haven't
is.
done any research,
Okay, I
but I
know
feel
there.
like I've heard something about
I know there
that.
is actually something to do with, like, the friction on it. So if you
Mm.
see people that always wear tight pants, or, like, people that wear, like, where your sock line is, if you'll notice this a lot more on guys because guys don't shave, but where the sock line is, like, however tall the socks they normally wear is, they have less hair there or sometimes no hair at all, and
So I
it's a
just
very
buy compression leggings and I never have to shave my legs again.
exactly, just always wear compression leggings. But it, like, wears it off, and it's a similar thing with hats. If you wear too tight hats or you wear hats all the time, is it will, like, just wear on that. I also think that it's probably something to do with the fact that a lot of guys that are going bald start wearing hats to cover up the fact that they're balding, and then you
Mm.
don't realize, like, you know, you see someone 3 years ago, they're starting to lose their hair, and then they start wearing hats a bunch, but you didn't notice that they were starting to lose their hair, and then you see them take it off to, like, wipe their forehead, and you're like, "When did you lose so much hair?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
your
like a
hat?"
real chicken and the egg situation. Did
Yeah.
the hat come first or did the hair loss come first?
If you're bald, tell us why. Write to us at whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com. Explain to us why
Okay,
you're bald. Did you wear hats?
people People should legitimately write into us, though, with their own conspiracy theory that they created because it's actually
Please.
so fun. It's
We'll
so fun.
we'll read it sometime, or maybe I'll do a
Yeah.
reel on our Instagram. I'm trying to do more of those
Oh,
because
that's a great idea.
people like the reels, and I want to do goofy stuff, but I don't know where to start. So, like, send us your conspiracy theories. I'll read them there, or we'll read them on the podcast or something. I don't know. I don't know how Instagram works, and I'm better at the internet than you, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I
'Cause we're
have
trying.
no idea how social media works. I cannot
Every time I
fathom
think I
that whole
get it, they
system.
change it on me. I'm
I
too
think
young
that's
to
I
be
just don't
this
even
old.
bother. It's so
Ugh.
funny, but yeah, that's like everything I had to talk about. I think that was really interesting,
think I
though, and
have
I
just
I
about
loved
everything.
hearing
Oh.
from all the different people.
If you guys want any fun, like, tabletop games to play, or any fun games to play with friends that are conspiracy rated or related, I have a couple recommendations. The game Illuminati, I don't know if they still make it, but we had an old copy when I was growing up we would play. That's a fun party game. There's the game Conspiracy Theories. I've never played the board game, but I have the card game version. We've played it at my holiday party before. It was so fun, and I'm not sure if I should be proud or concerned about how well everybody did. It's a blast to play with a bunch of people. So if anyone wants, if you have any other games, let us know. For anybody that's interested and want a fun little thing, we're not sponsored. Those games are just fun, and I thought if you like us, you might like those games. We have a little bit of housekeeping we want to do. Let's keep this house. We said last episode, and we should say it again this episode, we're working on, at the time of recording this, it's the same day as the last one, so we haven't gotten any further. But we're working on a cryptid-themed pinup calendar. You heard us talk about it last week. If you didn't hear last week's episode, us and a bunch of artists that we know, or people that our friends know, have all come together. We have 11 wonderful artists, wonderful people, wonderful artists. Each person is doing a different month and a different cryptid. So it's going to be a variety of art styles, variety of cryptids, and we are going to sell this, all of the money that doesn't go to printing and shipping costs are going to be donated to, sorry, I couldn't speak. All of the
You
money.
should have made it into you should have been like donation. No.
Donation. Blah, 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 blah. I don't have a stutter. I have party speech.
Yes, it's so good.
We are going to donate it to the Repro Defense Fund. Do you want to talk about what that is, just like last week?
Yeah. So the Repro Defense Fund is a legal fund for women and AFAB people under investigation for exercising their reproductive rights. So this organization helps with costs of bail, court fees, transportation, medical costs, etc. after a person may be persecuted for exercising their rights to reproductive health care.
Awesome. And we've already given our whole spiel about why that's so important. But pre-sales for that should start in October, but we'll keep you posted. We'll talk about it on this. And for more updates, go ahead and follow our Instagram. I will try to remember to post stuff on Blue Sky. I'm really bad about remembering that exists. And if you're not on Instagram and you're interested in that, just email us and we'll send you the link. We're going to probably get a store going for that and link it in the bottom of the episodes. But we'll keep you guys posted over on Instagram, so follow that for stuff. And the last thing is next month, episodes are going to be a little different from usual because we're trying to do a little something special.
Indeed. I'm so excited.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep it a surprise? Or, well, I mean, if anyone follows us on Instagram, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and spill the beans because
Spill them beans all over the ground.
Month,
Spill them.
In September, we're going to do what we are calling Specialist September. And it's basically going to be interviews and conversations with people that might be considered a specialist in their field, whether it's a graduate degree, what someone does for a living, a deep passion that somebody has had for something and has put a lot of work into it for years and years. We already have 2 confirmed specialists that are going to come on, an archaeologist and someone who did Eastern religious studies. So you've probably noticed that we've been asking you guys to send in questions. That is why.
Now you know what's going on and why we've been asking questions about that. So
Yeah.
next month is going to be a little different. We're going to be doing more of an interview style. So it's not going to be us researching. It's going to be talking to people who know this stuff that don't have to do much researching on stuff. But yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, though.
I'm so excited.
Elena and I are going to learn a lot, and you guys are going to learn a lot. And it's really cool because it's kind of like everyone gets to be involved.
Yeah, it's not just us taking guesses about like, well, I think this is how archaeology works. It's like, no, this is how archaeology works.
Yeah, exactly. So that will be nice.
Yeah. So that's all of that.
You want to do our outro?
I figure, yeah, I'll do that. You did the intro, I'll do the outro, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Let's just do this thing. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, please rate the podcast and share it with the weird people in your life. Follow us on Instagram at whataboutweird.pod, where we often share pictures related to the episodes. We're also on Blue Sky as What About Weird Pod. If you have any topic suggestions or personal weird stories, please DM us or email us at whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com. And always remember
to ask about the weird.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.